Turn in the road. The aims and objectives of this session are to teach you how to turn the car around in the road by means of forward and reverse gears. A safe and appropriate site should be chosen and consideration should be shown to other road users at all times. Find a safe, legal and convenient site. Remember to apply your MSM routine on approach to your starting position and be aware of street furniture that may be close to the curb, trees, lampposts, etc. Also look out for dropped curbs and the camber of the road. Apply the handbrake, select neutral, cancel the signal and await your instructions from the examiner. Prepare the car, check all round, finishing with a right blind spot check, large quick movements of the hands, full right hand lock, checking up and down the road and steering briskly to the left as you approach the curb opposite, looking for a reference point where the curb meets the side of the car, making sure the bonnet doesn't overhang. Handbrake into reverse, set the gas, find your biting point. Observations over your left shoulder, steer left, look left, then steer right and look right as you approach the curb behind, again looking for a reference point. Handbrake into first gear, set the gas, find the biting point, observations up and down the road, looking in the direction you want to go, try not to look at the curb opposite, and then check the rear view mirror as you straighten up. Bay Park. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to carry out a right reverse into a parking bay in a safe, controlled manner with due regard to other road users. Attention should be paid to the use of reference points in order to achieve consistent results so that you always finish central and parallel in the parking bay. Pull up alongside the bay 3 to 4 feet away from it and 3 bays past the bay you intend to reverse into, and then secure the car. Select reverse gear, open the window, check all round to make sure it's safe. Looking behind you, come back at walking pace in a straight line. You're now looking for a reference point where the next white line you come to meets the side of the car at a point that you will have established with your trainer. At that point, pause, check all round and put full left-hand lock on as quickly as possible, checking both sides of the car as you swing in. Observations should be all round as you swing into the bay, checking both sides of the car, keeping it moving at walking pace, and trying not to cut the lines as you enter the bay. As you enter the bay, make sure you're looking behind you over your left shoulder, waiting for the car to become central in the bay. As it does, very quickly take the lock off and then check behind you. Keep looking over your left shoulder and check quickly to your right as well, making sure that you stop without touching the curb behind. As you stop, put the handbrake on and select neutral. Wait for your examiner's next instruction. Parallel parking. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to pull up alongside a stationary vehicle and reverse in behind it. There are of course many methods for doing this manoeuvre, and I'm sure that your trainers will have shown you various techniques. This is just one of them. You should be able to carry out this manoeuvre safely and complete it within 2 car lengths, finishing reasonably close and parallel to the curb. Reference points should be used to achieve consistency, and you should at all times be aware of other road users. You will be asked to pull up behind a parked vehicle. Make sure you check your mirrors and indicate if necessary. As soon as you've stopped, secure the car, select neutral and wait for your examiner's next instruction. Drop the window so that you can hear other traffic coming. Prepare the car to move off, checking all round to make sure it's safe. And then move off and pull up alongside the target vehicle, about a door's width away, parallel to it, half a car length past it, so that as you stop, looking into the rear window, you can just see the rear offside corner of the target vehicle, and then make the car safe. Select reverse gear to warn other motorists of your intentions. Check all round to make sure it's safe, release the handbrake looking behind you, come back until the rear corner of that stationary vehicle disappears, check your blind spot, and if it's safe, half a turn of the wheel to the left will bring you in at a nice shallow 45-degree angle. Keep checking all round as you come in, looking for other vehicles, pedestrians and cyclists. Coming in at walking pace, no quicker. Very shortly you're going to be looking for a reference point where you'll need to put full right hand lock on very quickly. That reference point will be when your near side door mirror covers the centre of the stationary vehicle. At that point, checking all round, put full right hand lock on. If you do have a blind spot mirror on the near side door mirror, another reference point you could be using is when the curb comes in at 8 o'clock. Straighten up very quickly as you become parallel to the curb, looking behind you, come back so that you leave tyres and tarmac in front of you, making sure you're looking behind at the point you stop, put your handbrake on, select neutral, wait for your next instruction. Reverse to the left. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to reverse into a limited opening to the left, keeping the car reasonably close and parallel to the curb. Particular attention should be shown to other road users. There are of course various assessments you have to make before starting the manoeuvre. Is the corner a sharp one or a shallow one? Is the road you're reversing into on the level, sloping uphill or downhill? And your next assessment is where is the point of turn? Point of turn is quite simply that point where you're going to start turning the steering wheel to pull the back end of the car around the corner. Pull up at a safe and convenient position on the left, check in the mirrors as you do so, indicating if necessary. As soon as you've stopped, secure the car, make it safe, select neutral, and wait for your examiner's next instruction. Prepare the car in the usual way. checking all round to make sure it's safe, and driving past the road you intend to reverse into. As you draw level with it, check into the side road, looking for obstructions, the gradient and the shape of the curve. Pull up about 2 to 3 car lengths past the corner and about a drain's width out, making the car safe. If appropriate, select reverse immediately. Otherwise, remove the seatbelt, drop the window in order that you may hear approaching traffic. Select reverse gear, check all round, looking over your left shoulder for your straight line reference point. Come back in a straight line. Check into the front and to the right every half a car length. And stop on your point of turn. This will be when the near side curbstones appear about halfway down the quarter light. Check your right hand blind spot and steer an appropriate amount to the left depending upon the shape of the curve. Try to keep the car parallel and an equal distance around the curve. Checking to the right and to the front continually, making sure it's safe all around the car. As you enter the new road, check again behind you, looking for your straight line reference point to appear in the back window. Continue reversing into the new road for some 3 to 4 car lengths. Checking behind you and over your right blind spot every half a car length, making sure it's safe all round, and making sure you maintain an equal distance from the curb, making small adjustment of the steering wheel, and be looking out of the rear window at the point that you stop. Secure the car and make it safe. Wait for your next instructions. Remember to replace your seatbelt immediately. Carry out all-round observations before you move off, and signal if appropriate only. Reverse to the right. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to reverse into a limited opening to the right, keeping the car reasonably close and parallel to the curb, and paying particular attention to other road users. There are of course various assessments that you will have to make before starting the manoeuvre. Is the corner a sharp one or a shallow one? Is the road you're reversing into on the level, sloping uphill or downhill? Your next assessment is, where's the point of turn? The point of turn, quite simply, is that point when you're going to start turning the steering wheel to pull the back of the car round the corner. It's where the first curved curbstone meets the first straight curbstone, and that's where you want your rear right wheel to be. You will be asked to pull up on the left before you reach the next road on the right. Make sure you check your mirrors, indicate if necessary. And once stationary, secure the car, handbrake on into neutral, and wait for your examiner's instructions. Open the window so you can hear other traffic coming. Prepare the car in the normal way, checking all around to make sure it's safe, only signalling if required, and drive past the road on the right that you intend to reverse into. As you drive past the road, check into the side road to make sure it's clear, looking for obstructions, the gradient, the shape of the corner you intend to reverse round, and signalling to the right as you cross over if appropriate. Stopping some 2 to 3 car lengths past the junction and about a drain's width away from the curb, making the car safe as you stop. Select reverse as soon as possible, checking all round to make sure it's safe, and looking for your straight line reference point out of the rear window. Checking all round every half a car length, now looking for your point of turn where your offside rear wheel is going to be adjacent to the first curved curbstone. It is permissible for you to put your head out the window and have a look. Follow the shape of the curve round, making small adjustments of the wheel, trying to keep the car an equal distance from the curb as you come round. Every half a car length, keep checking around to make sure that it's safe. And don't steer any more than is absolutely necessary. Steer and hold. If the car's going where you want it to go, leave the steering wheel alone. Keep checking all around every half a car length. And as you enter the new road, look for your straight line reference point. You should now be looking mainly over your left shoulder, coming back in a straight line, and as you're reversing into a limited opening on the right, you will need to come back some 8 to 10 car lengths. If there are hazard lines painted, try and clear the 5th hazard line. Again, make sure you check to your right as well, every car length or so. Also make sure that you clear any dropped curbs. Make sure also that you're looking out of the rear window at the point that the car stops. It is perfectly acceptable for you to put one hand around the back of the passenger seat whilst reversing in a straight line. Make sure you're looking behind you as you stop. As soon as you've stopped, make the car safe, select neutral and wait for your examiner's next instruction. Make sure you indicate to the left before moving off. Emergencies stop. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to carry out an emergency stop in a safe, controlled manner, stopping the car in the shortest possible space without skidding. Skidding won't necessarily fail you, but not correcting it probably will. There is no need to check your mirrors, as you should already know what is behind you. When the examiner gives you your signal, tighten your grip on the steering wheel, brake firmly and progressively, leaving the clutch to the last split second. Apply the handbrake, select neutral and await your examiner's instructions. When instructed to move off, check both blind spots starting from the left, looking for cyclists and motorbikes in particular. Moving off and stopping. Throughout your examination, you will probably be asked several times to pull over and stop at a convenient place. Make sure the place you select is safe, legal and convenient. In other words, not on the brow of a hill, too close to a junction, opposite another parked vehicle or opposite a bus stop, etc. The examiner is looking to see if you're using the MSM routine correctly, and in particular, are you signalling appropriately? In other words, are you signalling when there is no one to benefit from the signal, or are you not signalling when you should be? Remember, whenever you're moving off from the side of the road, your last observational check should be the appropriate blind spot. When moving off on the level, prepare the car in the usual way. Make sure you find your biting point. All-round observation, starting with a left blind spot check, ending up over your right shoulder. Consider giving a signal only if appropriate. Steer briskly to the right to obtain your normal driving position about 1 metre from the curb, and then check the rear view mirror just to see if anything else has appeared behind you. You will be instructed to pull up just behind the vehicle in front, leaving yourself room to move off again. Prepare the car in the usual way without too much biting point. Observations all round, quick movements of the hands. Control the speed with the clutch, steering briskly to the right, and checking the rear view mirror as you emerge. You will be expected to carry out an uphill start without the slightest roll back. Set the gas, clutch down, into first gear, find your biting point, Keep your feet absolutely still at that point. Observational checks all round with your right blind spot check. Using no more gas or clutch than is appropriate for the hill. Steer briskly to the right, checking your rear view mirror as you emerge. From a stationary position, you will have already secured the car with the handbrake. When instructed to move off, select the appropriate gear depending upon the gradient. Apply the foot brake, clutch down, then select the appropriate gear, which in this case is second. Observations all round, release the handbrake, release the foot brake, and bring the clutch up smoothly and gently on the gas, checking the rear view mirror as you move off. As mentioned at the beginning of this chapter, make sure you select a safe, legal and convenient place to stop, and one of the things the examiners will be looking for is to see that you signal appropriately. The examiner will ask you to pull up at a safe, convenient place. As soon as he does, check your rear view mirror, signal to the left if appropriate, gently brake in whilst looking for an appropriate stopping place. As soon as you've stopped, apply the handbrake, select neutral, cancel your signal and await further instructions. Approaching junctions to turn either right or left. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to approach junctions in a safe and controlled manner, having due regard to other road users. 6 to 7 car lengths from the junction, check the interior and near side door mirror, signal to the left, consider your normal driving position, gently on the brakes, select the appropriate gear, check the near side door mirror for cyclists, and as you enter the new road, straighten up briskly, check in your rear view mirror to see if anybody is following you or trying to overtake you. When turning right, start your MSM routine 8 to 10 car lengths back from the junction, check your inside and offside door mirrors, signal to the right, position yourself 6 inches from the central hazard line, look for your point of turn. When the door mirror lines up with the centre line of the new road, check your rear view mirror and straighten up quickly. When there is an approaching vehicle, make sure you stop at your point of turn with your wheels facing forwards. Emerging at T-junctions. Open junctions are those that you can clearly see across the corners, and closed junctions are those that you can't, and therefore you will be required to stop. Identify whether the junction is open or closed and start your MSM routine at 6 to 8 car lengths away. Maintain your normal driving position and angle the wheels to the left as you stop. Prepare the car, check both ways, and when safe, emerge into the new road. As you straighten up, check your rear view mirror to see if there's anybody trying to overtake you. Identify whether the junction is open or closed and start your MSM routine 8 to 10 car lengths from the junction. Position yourself close to the central hazard line, braking gently to a stop. Prepare the car, check both ways, and when safe, emerge into the new road, making sure you don't cut the corner. Straighten up, and as you do, check your rear view mirror to see if anybody's trying to overtake you. In this example, we're approaching an open junction with the intention of turning right. Start your observations at the earliest opportunity, checking to the right, to the right again, and if safe, select the appropriate gear and emerge safely into the new road. As you straighten up, check your rear view mirror. Crossroads. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to deal with crossroads, having regard for other road users and paying attention to priority situations. Start your MSM routine 6 to 8 car lengths from the junction, checking your mirrors, signalling to the left, checking to your right ahead to the left, back to ahead and to the right, and then looking in the direction you're finally going, emerge into the new road safely, checking your rear view mirror as you straighten up. When following the road ahead, start your MSM routine 6 to 8 car lengths back from the junction. Make sure you position yourself correctly, check to the right, ahead, to the left, ahead and right, and if safe, proceed across the crossroad, emerging into the new road, and as you do, check your rear view mirror. When emerging right at a crossroad, start your routine 8 to 10 car lengths back from the junction. Check your mirrors, signal right, position yourself close to the central hazard line. Check to the right, check ahead, check to the left, check to the right again, ahead and left, and then finally in the direction that you are going, being sure not to cut the corner. As you straighten up into the new road, check your rear view mirror to make sure nobody's trying to overtake you. Dealing with emerging traffic at crossroads. There will be times when you're approaching a crossroad with the intention to turn right that there may well be vehicles coming from the opposite direction. You will need to check your mirrors, signal, position yourself correctly towards the centre line. Look at the position of the approaching vehicle, try to make eye contact and establish where he's going. You can look at the body language of the vehicle, it's not signalling, so one would assume that it's going straight ahead. Check to the right, ahead, left, ahead and right. Keep those observational checks going until it's safe to emerge into the new road. As soon as you do, straighten up and check your rear view mirror. You almost certainly will have to deal with a situation where two vehicles are emerging right at a crossroad. So again, check your mirrors, signal, position yourself correctly, and then establish where the vehicle in front is going. In this case, we can see the vehicle is turning right, and it would be more appropriate for us to emerge near side to near side. As soon as we've straightened up, check the rear view mirror. This time we will be dealing with a situation where we are turning right, and you'll notice that there will be a vehicle opposite turning left. Priority is clearly with the vehicle turning left into their own lane. We've already positioned ourselves correctly, given the necessary signals, observed where the vehicle is going, made our observational checks, and emerged safely behind the other vehicle, checking our rearview mirror as we straighten up. This time we will be dealing with a situation where we again are emerging right and are confronted by a vehicle in front that flashes his headlights at us. Flashing headlights are of course to warn other motorists of your presence. We'll be checking our mirrors as per normal, positioning ourselves for turning right, and as the vehicle flashes his lights we need to establish beyond any shadow of doubt that that signal was meant for us, then make our own safety observations, and if it's safe to proceed, do so, and then check your rear view mirror as you straighten up. There will of course be many times when you're approaching a crossroad, and in this case we're going to deal with a scenario where two cars are both trying to turn right. Generally speaking, if you have the option, it is much safer to turn offside to offside so that you go round the back of the other vehicle. This increases your view into the new road considerably, and again as you finish your turn and straighten up, check your rear view mirror to make sure it's safe behind. If you find that you are forced into a near side to near side turn, this could be the road layout or the other driver, be aware of your restricted view of oncoming traffic. Meeting traffic, adequate clearance, and anticipation. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to deal with meeting other traffic, giving adequate clearance and anticipation of other road users. Particular attention should be paid to give way situations and consideration to other road users. As soon as you can see a meeting situation, go into your MS-PSL routine, check in your mirrors, be prepared to give way. When you go into a safety gap, try to hold back 1.5 to 2 car lengths from the vehicle in front. making sure that you check your mirrors before you emerge into the road. Make sure you're looking well down the road for safety gaps on both sides, anticipating other road users, opening doors, moving up in between parked vehicles, brake lights coming on, cars moving off, and continually checking your rear view mirror to see if there's anything behind you. Clearly, when there are vehicles parked on both sides of the road, you will need to adjust your speed accordingly. Less space, less pace. Cyclists need a 2-metre clearance. In this case, quite clearly we can't give that, so we need to hold back. Try not to get too close to the rear wheel. Cyclists quite naturally get very nervous of cars coming close behind. When travelling down a narrow road, particularly one with cars parked on both sides of the road, where it's impossible for you to leave a door's width either side, then you will need to adjust your speed accordingly. Looking out for pedestrians, particularly those around working vehicles that might suddenly step out from behind. You need to be anticipating the actions of other road users at all times. As you can see on the left, there is a school crossing sign, so you should be looking out for children and also for school crossing patrol officers. You'll see roadwork signs on the left, so again, the road is going to be artificially narrowed. We should also be looking for workmen wandering about, and at all times continuing to look for hazards. Crossing traffic and overtaking. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to cross the path of other vehicles, how to deal with overtaking moving traffic in a safe and controlled manner. Check your inside and right mirror, give the appropriate signal, and when safe, move across into the right hand lane, cancelling your signal. This is now 2 separate manoeuvres, so check your inside and right mirrors again, signalling to the right, about 8 to 10 car lengths from the junction, and looking for a safe gap to cross the path of other vehicles. If there's nothing coming, keep the car moving. There's no point in stopping unnecessarily. As you enter the new road, straighten up, cancelling your signal. Check your mirrors inside and right, give a signal, adopt the correct position towards the right hand side, into the right hand lane, and looking for a gap in the oncoming traffic. If there isn't one, gently brake to a standstill, slipping the car into first gear and preparing yourself to move off as soon as there is a safe gap. Secure the car with a handbrake, keep checking, looking for a gap all the time. Make sure you are on the biting point and prepared to move off should anybody indicate that they wish you to cross in front of them. Keep looking for a safe gap. As soon as you can see one, check your mirrors, move off briskly, and as you enter the new road, check your rear view mirror. Match your position and speed to the vehicle in front. Check your mirrors to see that no one is overtaking you. Start your MSM routine, signal, and drop down a gear if necessary for extra power. As soon as you can see the vehicle you have overtaken in your interior mirror, check your near side mirror and return to your lane without signalling. Pedestrian crossings. Light controlled and uncontrolled. The aims and objectives of this session are to show you how to deal with pedestrian crossings, paying particular attention to observations before moving off. On approach to the crossing, check your mirrors and scan the crossing. Brake gently to a halt, making sure you don't go across the giveaway line. As soon as you've stopped, if there are people walking in front, apply the handbrake and select neutral. And when the crossing is clear, prepare the car, carry out a rainbow check, looking for cyclists and motorcyclists coming down either side of you, and move off when safe. On approach to the crossing, check your mirrors, scan the crossing, never accelerate towards the crossing, check out the lights, gently brake, and secure the car when you stop. Look for the flashing amber light. If the crossing is clear, carry out your rainbow check, and if safe, move off. When approaching a Toucan crossing, check your mirrors, scan the crossing, in particular looking for cyclists emerging quickly onto the crossing, remembering they do not have to dismount.